everybody, we're back again with video number 2. It is 10 minutes gone by and it's time to drain the wheatgrass. As I was saying earlier, if you don't wear gloves, this is what happens when you play with hydrogen peroxide and you don't wear gloves. My suggestion is wear gloves. It does wear off, doesn't hurt a lot, but it's still better to wear gloves.
So there's a pair of gloves over there, Sandra. Why don't you get them on?
I am taking out my sterile gloves. As you can see in the video, the hydrogen peroxide is still bubbling away. And so this is the next step. This is what I do. You can purchase strainer lids. I choose to use cheesecloth because it works just as well. I can wash it, I can reuse it. I didn't want to put the money out to buy the lids. So this is what I do. Cheesecloth is really cheap. You buy it in your grocery store. Or if you have a fabric store, I'm sure they would sell some too. I use 2 layers of it. I place it over the top. Now your canning jars often come with lids. You can use those with the cheesecloth. You just screw it on like that. Or the other method I use often is I have elastic bands, and instead of the lid I would just put the elastic band on like that. Works great too. But for this video I'm using the lid. Normally we don't do it like this. We do it in a sink, but because we're in our grow room at the moment, I don't have a running water with a sink out here, so I'm just doing this for the video. Normally I would do it in a sink. So your wheatgrass has soaked for your 10 minutes, 10 to 15. I set the timer for 10 minutes, so I had time to talk about it. You take that after you swish it around, and you would pour this into your sink, like so. You just tip it over and pour out your hydrogen peroxide mixture. At this point you can use tap water. I only use distilled water for the hydrogen peroxide mix. At this point you're now rinsing the hydrogen peroxide off of your seeds. So I would run this under my tap, but I don't have my tap, so I take the water. Warm water is best, okay? The reason is it actually helps soften the seeds. And I do this, give it a shake, and it runs into the sink while you're doing that, because you're trying to clean off the hydrogen peroxide off of your seeds now. I would do that a couple of times in my sink. I would fill it up, rinse it one more time. Don't really need a full cup the second time. Again, give it a shake, drain it off. Comes out. And at this point, you would put the water in. Again, warm water is best, not hot. I talked to the lady at Mum's, and they actually use warm water to germinate their seeds there too. You can pour it right over. Get the bubble off of that so the water runs through. Right over the cheesecloth into the jar. Again, I would be using my tap water. A little easier than pouring it from a jug. And you leave that sit for 10 to 12 hours. Okay, and in 10 to 12 hours we will come back and show you what we do. Thank you again for coming.